Good evening, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Okun. Thank you so much for your help supporting this YouTube channel, leaving a comment, engaging with the platform, clicking notification bell, leaving a comment. Like I said, positive comments. I've been receiving a lot of comments from family and friends and fans. I'm so happy you have been so valuing of this process, and I'm also very happy for people who have been watching, people who have been sharing with family and friends, and maybe also sharing with colleagues at work or at school or at play or friends, and doing whatever you can to validate this work. I thank you very much. And also for sharing, for clicking notification bell to make sure you receive a new video, and also to click like. Whatever you have done, little or not so little, is enough. It's a lot, and I'm so grateful. So today I've been talking about money in the United Kingdom given to people who need support, and this is the government policy in the United Kingdom. And I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to speak about this topic. This topic relates to the cost of living crisis, which have been occurring for a while now. And people have been talking about it. And people are so concerned about the situation. I've always argued at the outset of this program to say the primary problem with the cost of living crisis is the government of the United Kingdom, and also, so to speak, the council, the government across the globe, having failed to manage the economy in the interest of the many, as opposed to only managing the economy in the interest of the few, with the result that the few getting richer and the many are getting poorer. The rich, as we were, getting poorer, and the many are getting richer. The poor are getting poorer rather, and the majority poor getting poorer. This mantra has always been from the beginning of our society. So this program, in as much as it looks specifically at development and also looking at money in particular, in the hand, it is a holistic look, taking a look, providing an outlook at life, and also you are proposing at the same time the essence of humanity, where development is actually invited or actually suggested. Development is suggested to occur with the humanity at the heart of the same. And that, to my mind, is a medicine society needs to produce peace, the peace we need to be happy. In my opinion, the purpose of life is about happiness, and as we live in wealth or in poverty, the greatest poverty, in my opinion, is when we live in the absence of peace, always fighting as individuals, as communities, families, societies at war. Governments fighting governments across the globe, and every fighter, every conflicting party in the process of conflicting, blaming one another, nobody, it seems to me, is in a position to take responsibility for anything. And so I have said this. Our culture needs to be recultivated, and we need to now adopt a status within the cultural framework in which we now become mature. Even if you are children, even if you are a young person, even if you are adult, education, cultural education in particular, knows no boundary, regardless of your age. So if you are young, if you are an elderly person, if you are just a normal adult, we are all in this together. And we need to do our best to look after ourselves as individuals, and also look at our world, our economies, our politics, mending our politics, our broken politics, contributing to our family, to our societies also, and doing things peacefully, and also looking at people who need help, vulnerable people, and that is the right thing to do. If somebody else says something else to you, such as refusing, neglecting people who need help, such a person is not fit to be acknowledged as a human being. They should be cast away in one way or the other. They should be either re-educated. Doesn't matter who they are, how powerful they are. United we stand, divided we fall. If you are poor, you have to come together and have the right precepts and doctrine about information and about knowledge, and come together, work together as a human family. If we are to protect our environment, then humanity should be at the heart of our undertaking. The same goes for economy. The same goes for technology. As we access technology, as we use the technology and machine, computer to improve society, to actually enrich our life, humanity constantly should be at the heart of our functioning. And this is a legitimate argument, and I invite everybody, whatever what they think. I hear voices from the conservative government in the United Kingdom accusing sick people of the United Kingdom of being lazy. I think the United Kingdom, the Conservative Party, and the voices which actually are so cruel, so disrespectful, so neglecting of society, should be ashamed of themselves. It's a party not fit to govern the United Kingdom, in my opinion, because if a political party, it doesn't matter which party it is, the moment they do no longer have respect for the British people, they shouldn't run Britain. So the Conservative Party should really stop being extremist to the right wing of extremism, pushing capitalism to the extreme right, where people behave like wizards, like witches. You don't care about people. You talk nasty things about people who are actually suffering from sickness. You have destroyed the hospital. You have closed down the public sector. And this message goes to New Labour, the New Labour of the United Kingdom, also the Liberal Democrats, who we saw their true colors when they formed a coalition with the Conservative Party in the United Kingdom. The evil they colluded to do, shutting down the public sector. Public sector is for the poor people. Anybody who shut down the public sector has hatred for people, because the British people, in the majoritarian sense of the word, are reliant on the public sector. Without the public sector, there will be no jobs. There will be no decent jobs. When the UK government, especially the Conservative Party government, now claiming there are jobs, people do not want to do work, people are pretending to be sick, that is an insult. And the British people listening under the sound of my voice should remember, and when election comes, they should not vote the Conservative Party. Unless the Conservative Party begin to respect the British people, they should not vote the Labour Party. Unless the Labour Party demonstrate respect, they should not vote the Liberal Democrat or the SNP, the Scottish National Party. These are the key political players who are now doing more or less the same, and they are destroying the public sector. Every political party should come clean. It doesn't matter which political party. The Conservative Party take the most responsibility because it is in government now. Because it is in government now, so he takes the main responsibility because he has been ruling this country for more than 12 years, and they should be punished. Especially when there are voices, right-wing voices in the UK, accusing people who need help. You have shut down the medical system. And that's why people are sick. You have failed to produce healthy food. You only produce healthy food, organic food, which are too expensive for ordinary people to afford. You give this to the super rich. And you accuse people of obesity. People are obese because they cannot access healthy food. People are so sick, they are so depressed, they are so abused by the state. That's why they are depressed. What the government needs, any government, especially now that we are heading toward the election, any government should stop and start looking after British people. That's the function of the government. The government can no longer look after the British people. They should shut down. And before they shut down, they have to give back our lands in Britain. And also across the globe, land should be given back in America, in Europe, in Africa. Whatever land the government takes, if the government is lazy and it can no longer run the country, come clean, shut down the legal system, which is now unfortunately being used as a weapon of mass destruction to destroy the many and the preserve of the few ruling elite. So, in what was supposed to be an instrument of justice has now turned into a weapon of producing massive injustice to the point of destroying the majority of the population, to the shame of the British ruling class, aristocracy, who have actually ruled this country, stolen all the money through force and violence. Nobody consented to giving money to the ruling class of the world in the private sector, the multimillionaires. Nobody sent them to take our land, to accumulate. They didn't ask us to pay tax. Poor people are paying council tax. They should not pay council tax. People on benefit should not be paying council tax. The government is talking about shutting down the benefit system. They talk about employment. The government has destroyed employment because of privatization. The private company only think about money. Anything involving welfare of the people in this country should be managed by the government. If you privatize the economy, especially the economy needed at welfare level to produce welfare system in this country, the private sector cannot provide that. The government should regulate private company for purposes of employment, for purpose of welfare. We are not supposed to look at employment as an economic program. It is not. It's not a commercial program. It's not there to make profit for people who are running industries, who are doing trading. It should be to provide welfare for people who need help. If they cannot need help, if the level of pay is low, if the condition of work take rights away from the workers, then we are in a position where the government should regulate private companies and actually protect employee and train employer, and teach employee respect, because the government is responsible for running this country. And I say this before, I say it again, and thank you so much for paying attention and for being part of this economy, part of this family. Let me go back to go through a policy of the government, of the United Kingdom government, on benefit. When I say to talk about policy on benefit, what I am trying to do is to illustrate the outlook and also the nature of what the government policy might look like. In this respect, I would expect viewers to take into account the complexity, also the nature of the thing, because it applies within benefit sector. It also applies within the rest of the economy, within the rest of the sector of the state. And also, if you are private entrepreneur, you pay attention that your business is actually based on the law of the land. And that is the central purpose of going through this exercise, to expose in a constructive way how the system works. This is our responsibility, especially at a time when our government now is bailing out on the British people. And in this regard, I invite viewers to pay attention to how the government is structured, and this should be a catalyst to provide an avenue for people to access website, government website, and all the other websites to do with the charitable organization or the non-profit organization or whatever a website you can access on education. The sky is the limit in terms of seeking knowledge, and we are needing to do the same now, and especially now when we are in an age of knowledge. If you have knowledge, it's going to be empowered, and the idea of empowerment is at the heart of this operation, of this exercise. And watch this video, you know my mind is there, among other things, to empower viewers. And this is the beginning, is sowing a seed. Let us not despise small beginning. This is a platform which is healthy, which has prospect, and going forward we will be doing better things. Let us look at this situation in the United Kingdom, and what happened in the United Kingdom happened also in your country. So not despising what happened here, because you cannot ignore Britain, because Britain is at the heart of globalization. For those who may not be aware of globalization is actually countries coming together to form one country, a global country, and also a global citizenship, worlds without borders, and a family of society creating a global village. All these information are online, and you should be an expert on every subject. If you're poor, be an expert on poverty. Know exactly what is responsible for creating your poverty. And this I have said consistently through this program, and I expect us to continue with this discourse. And leave a comment below. Let me know what you are, what your feelings are, what you think about this program. And I think it's a good program. I think a lot of people are supporting it. We are work in progress in terms of growth. We are a small program, but small are never to be despised, and you are warmly welcome to this platform. We're looking at number 6 of this information about people who are actually sick, who are looking at ways of improving their life on the basis of what the government is offering to them. And I'm so grateful that you came, and I'm also happy that you came. And we are going moving forward at this looking at this material. And so when we are trying to claim universal creative sickness element, and a lot of people in the United Kingdom are very negative about benefit, but with the cost of living crisis increasingly, people are realizing how vulnerable their lives are. And especially if you work for a living and your employer suddenly asks you to leave, and you lose your job, and suddenly the only thing probably you can think of is benefit. And a lot of people used to get jobs. If you have experience in the United Kingdom, it was easy to get jobs, but now it's going to be harder and harder going forward. People need to understand. I'm not saying there are no jobs. Of course there are jobs, but it's going to be more competitive in the marketplace because of technology. And this is something the government should be telling us if he wanted to tell the truth. The government, looking at an election coming now, is trying to find an excuse, even accusing the British people of being irresponsible. Well, if they are responsible, then it is the government which has told them how to be irresponsible, because the British government runs the country. People become irresponsible if they are leaders, and the fish rots from the head. It starts rotting from the head, and then the rest of the fish rots. So the government accusing the British people of being one thing or another, the rest of the finger will be pointing at the British government. There's nowhere to run for a negligent government. If there is anything to think about democracy, then this government should be removed from power for a long time, unless it can come clean. And the coming government should also come clean and start running the country for the people of Britain. Otherwise, every government not helping anyone should be kicked out of power, regardless which political party it is. And that is the idea of democracy. People should come forward and start speaking truth to power. And this is why I have been talking about these things. If we don't speak, if we keep quiet, we will be the victim. We will be depressed. We will be on medication. Medication is going to kill us, even with money or without money. We are talking about money now. When we talk about finance, we are now at the stage of speaking about sickness benefit, money for people who are sick. That is why we need to know that the causes of sickness is not really necessarily poverty. Poverty may be a trigger in one way or the other, but a lot of people being depressed, and immediately most of the people depressed are all on medication. And medication is also contributing to killing them physically or even exacerbating their mental illness. And this is the fact. People are committing suicide, they are contemplating suicide, not just in the United Kingdom and in Europe, in America. Suicide in America is a modern phenomenon. In Africa, people are committing suicide because, see, we are doing wrong things. Our governments are doing wrong things. They are always violent. They are oppressing people. Families are divided. We are talking about development. We are talking about culture. We are talking about progress. Our progress is at stake because of our culture. Our culture is broken. We have to restore the value of humanity. We have to restore the value of our livelihood, our wealth, our health. Everything around us is because of us. And this is actually important because what we are doing now, people are killing people. You don't kill somebody you value. You don't destroy something you value. If you value your life, you begin to value your wealth even more. You value your health even more. And that is the idea. And we can do this because if we can decide to follow the wrong path, we can come back to following the right path. The right path is actually focusing on people. Every policy of the government should respect human life. You don't behave like backward alien visiting the earth from some remote planet. We are humans. We have dignity. We have wisdom. We are the best. And do not allow anybody, whether you are an alien or you are a psychopath, whether it doesn't matter how much power you are, you cannot talk down humanity. You cannot abuse people by implying that they don't want to work. That is really bad manners. And these voices coming from the right-wing monsters in the United Kingdom, these people are behaving worse than our animals. Animals are even more respectful of humans. These people are from the outer space. They don't belong to our species unless they begin to show some respect. I think power and wealth has got into their head. They are trying to say people are so sick, people are so economically inactive, worthless excuse, failing to support people, being savages, being so backward, and refusing to respect the British people, keeping them in poverty, abusing them. If you go and see around the streets, people are living like dogs, like wild animals in a first world country, the sixth richest country in the world. Knowledge upon knowledge, culture upon culture. People travel across the globe, from across the globe, to visit Britain, to visit its cultural proficiencies, providences, cultural wealth, artifacts, name it. Britain as a country is the best. Our ancestors worked so hard, some of them working as slaves, some of them working legitimately as free men and women, celebrating this country, celebrating the best that Britain is. And you have rogue leaders within the right-wing political spectrum who are savages, who are so rude, who are so spoiled like little brats, abusing the British people, calling them lazy. How savage do you have to be? How rude? What kind of hatred is that for people, the British people? Why does the government producing individuals who have latent hatred for the British people, and they are kept in power? These people should be kicked out, even if they are MPs, if they are working within the media, if they are think tank, if they are, it doesn't matter if they are wizard or witches, they should be removed out of power from wherever they are. And that is the way to clean up society. We will do that because we are humans. Britain is part of our human society. It doesn't matter if you are in Africa. It doesn't matter which part of the world you are. Britain is part of your world. You see, this world is interconnected. We may be having imaginary borders, but this Britain, we have. If you are an African, you are responsible for Britain. You talk about sovereignty. You talk about globalization also. Because you see, when we are becoming a global country, then the rest of the world are still stuck in the past, talking about sovereignty. Let them talk about sovereignty, but it's not an excuse for practicing evil. It is evil to accuse sick people. Sick people need hospital. They need care. They don't need accusation. They don't need the government lecturing them. You are sick, but you can work. I mean, who are you to tell the British people what to do? Because you are in power. Because you are so rich. Because you destroyed the country by destroying the public sector. And the public sector should be brought back to help poor people, get British people out of poverty today. And that is an instruction from me to the British government. They should obey me. They should obey the British people. The British people should pay. The people of the world should talk about their country and the other countries as well. If you are in a country in Africa, if something is wrong in Britain, speak to the government, because the government is a public servant. They are our servant. We don't serve them. They serve us. Now they are acting like I think they are our masters. They have turned citizens into slaves. That is a form of moral illegality. If there is anything like that, if there is something as moral illegality, then so be it. And that is what it is. So let us come back to looking at what happens when you try to get help if you're a sick person. So we are looking at number 6 on our application form when we're trying to understand how to claim the benefit for sickness. So we talk about communication, capacity to communicate, capacity, ability to speak with other people, making yourself understood through speaking, writing, typing, or other means which are normally or could reasonably be used and hated by the other person. So you speak with clarity, with dexterity of the mind and also maybe of physicality, so that people understand what you're saying. So that is actually the kind of activity, but also the descriptor. We would say something like 6A. You can't convey a simple message such as the presence of a hazard, then you get 15 points. We talked previously about point scoring mechanisms within applying for help. If you look at number B as significant difficulty to convey a simple message to strangers, you get 15 points. 15 points is an indicator that you are sick enough and you need more money with your point, or you have a prospectively building points toward the prospect of getting some money. So you talk about activity, the same activity in activity 6, and also descriptor 6C, you have some difficulty conveying simple messages to strangers, you get 6 points. Then number D, none of the above applies, you get 0 points. Thank you so much for watching. Let us continue on this discourse. Number 7, understanding communication by 1, verbal means such as hearing or lip reading alone. Number 2, non-verbal means such as reading. You get something like 16 points. Reading 16-point print or braille alone, or 3, combination of 1 and 2, using any aid that is normally or could reasonably be used unaided by another person. So you come to descriptor 7a. If you can't understand a simple message, such as the location of a fire escape due to sensory impairment, under these circumstances, you get 15 points. And number B, under the same activity, 7B, a significant difficulty understanding a simple message from a stranger due to a sensory impairment, you get 9 points. Number C, some difficulty understanding a simple message from a stranger due to sensory impairment, you get 6 points. Number 7D, none of the above applies, you get 0 points. Let's look at number 8, navigation and maintaining safety using a guide dog or other aid normally used. To talk about navigation, we may probably also talk about mobility. Looking at number 8A in the descriptor box, unable to navigate around familiar surroundings without being accompanied by another person due to sensory impairment, you get 15 points. Let us look at number B, 8B. Can't safely complete a potentially hazardous task, such as crossing the road without being accompanied by another person due to sensory impairment, you get 15 points. Number 8, a descriptor C, unable to navigate around unfamiliar surroundings without being accompanied by another person due to sensory impairment, you get 9 points. Number D, none of the above applying, you get 0 points. Let us look at number 9. Look at the absence in terms of activity, the absence of loss of control, whilst conscious leading to extensive evacuation of the bowel and or bladder, other than urinalysis, bedwetting, despite the wearing or use of any other aids or adaptations which are normally or could reasonably be worn or used, and these are activities. And we look at the descriptors number 9A. At least once a month experiences 1, loss of control leading to extensive evacuation of the bowel and or voiding of the bladder, or substantial leakage of the contents of a collective device sufficient to reduce sufficient to require cleaning and a change in clothing. And B, the majority of time, there you get 9 points, so to speak. Looking at B, the majority of the time is a risk or of loss of control, leading to extensive evacuation of the bowel, or voiding the bladder sufficient to require cleaning, and a change in clothing, if not able to reach a toilet quickly. These are some of the extreme medical situations. There you get 6 points. C, neither of the above applies, you get 0. If you do not understand anything I'm trying to talk about, leave a comment below. Let me also try my best to deal with situation on a case-by-case basis. That will be a good development. This is not an advice. This is not any sort of advice. This is an exercise to show to viewers the nature of the information which, if you are unfortunate or enough or fortunate enough to be in a situation of being sick and also prospecting to get some support from the government of the United Kingdom, this is the kind of material you are given to use as an ordinary citizen of the world to get benefit. And that is why I say, if this something is so complex and there's no funding for professionals who are highly trained or trained in one way or the other to help the people access this information and also therefore access benefit, that is actually an adulteration of service, and it should be changing. We should be changed immediately. The government of the United Kingdom should strengthen the public sector, because there are so many poor people in the UK, and whether they are sick or whether they are healthy, whether they are working, whether or not working, and it's irrelevant at the moment. If you work, the condition of work should be strengthened by public policy, and also the government regulating employment aspect of private businesses, because employment, although can be provided by private companies, it is a social welfare, not an economic infrastructure. So the government appropriately should regulate every organization, big, small, medium business, which is actually employing human resources. They should be regulated with the result of providing enough salary, which should be able to get the British people out of poverty, because the poverty is actually money related, is income related. The cost of living crisis is caused by income failure in the United Kingdom and across the globe. And what happened in the United Kingdom, in my view, should also be happening across the globe, because we are a global country. Anybody overemphasizing the idea of sovereignty, anybody overly accusing people moving around the world, including immigrants, even if they are illegal. You see, illegality of anything, including immigration, is created by the government, by the law. And therefore, people who are actually legitimately coming to the UK, who may break the law because the law is so obnoxious enough to ignore human plight, fleeing violence, different forms of violence coming from war, violence coming from famine, from diseases, from all sorts of disruption, domestic violence. All these people are coming here, and it is so difficult in terms of the minds of the British people who come into Britain from abroad. It's very difficult to distinguish between legal and illegal immigrants. When the government make political rhetoric and produce political opportunities, especially the Conservative Party or the right wing, who rely on stirring up racial hatred, hiding behind immigration policy to stir up the British people to produce racially based hatred, and hide behind this political rhetoric, that there are so many people coming to Britain, and there is no evidence to that effect that Britain is somehow being crowded because of foreigners. That is not true, because immigrants, if anything, probably only form about 10 or 20% of the population. So where is the land? The land are being controlled by the super rich. That's why people are crowded like sheep into city and towns to come and work for the rich. And that's why they don't want to pay us decently. They don't want to provide us with decent employment. That's why they don't want to house us in decent property. They treat people like slaves because they are evil, because they are cruel. The evil people should leave power today. Good people of Britain should take over. These historicals, these people who inherited the estate. I mean, I don't know what they inherited. They inherited some really bad things. I mean, if you are happy to be a millionaire or a multi-billionaire with so much wealth, and some of the wealth are not even recorded. They are not recordable because there is so much wealth lying idle, being hoarded, and that is evil. That is a form of hatred. It's a form of financial violence, economic violence, is just bordering on terrorism, state terrorism. And if the government condones that, they collude with the super rich to exclude the British people out of poverty. And they blame foreigners. These foreigners are being terrorized by the system of capitalism. I am of no fear or favor to talk about capitalism because it's the only system even practiced in North Korea, in Cuba, in different parts of the world which used to be socialist are now capitalist. They are all in it together. They are just all the thing they think about is money, 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 wealth, 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 power, 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 pride, 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 and abuse and savagery. They have no sense of duty. They have no. I mean, they are just a few rotten, extremely bad apple. That is the good news. There are not many. These are individuals who are so toxic, who own a lot of wealth in this country. Some of people who own a lot of wealth are being confused and choked with a dangerous conspiracy to destroy the people of Britain, to destroy the people of the world. And this will stop because we are humans. We are not going anywhere. Use the law to terrorize us because you are in government, because you are super rich, you are multimillionaire, you're multi-billionaire. You are in the media with excessive power. You use your power to terrorize the British people. But I tell you this, we are the many and you are the few. We will win. Good people will take over power from evil people and economic injustice will stop. The police being used to terrorize the people of Britain instead of protecting them. The police is now being shut down. The military system is being shut down because of technology. So where will the police go? We are going to create robots. We are going to teach them evil. And robots are going to kill all the poor people first. And then turn around and kill their masters, the super rich, which are actually only about less than 10% of the global population. I'm not talking about Britain alone. I'm talking about all the people of the ruling despots of the world. And that is how nasty they are. You see, I'm talking about a cultural nastiness. I'm not talking about individuals who are in power. I'm talking about a cultural nastiness. A system which is rotten to the core because of our human rottenness. Producing a culture of toxicity across the globe. It's not just one country. It's not just black. It's not just white. It's all of us. And if we are not careful, we are going to go extinct as a species. Rich, poor people are not good people. They are only good if they qualify to be good. Rich people are not good people. They are only good if they qualify to be good. If you respect people, and then you work towards restoring human culture, you are a good person, whether you are rich or poor, whether you are in power or you are out of power. But you see, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. If you got one or two evil dictators, whether in Britain or in Africa, you get a dangerous weapon of mass destruction in your hand because you give power to the wrong people. Wrong people should leave. People who insult British people who are sick, who are poor, or being lazy, or wasting public money are wizards and witches. These people are very dangerous. They should be kicked out of power. Anybody, I mean, there should be, I don't know what kind of dictatorship should be practiced against people who are wrong. Unfortunately, we don't have any legal recourse to really, making these people suffer. People who cause the suffering of the people of Britain and people around the world should be made to suffer, and they should be removed from power by their fellow power brokers. If you are just in a coalition with evil people, with demons, you become like a demon, and that is a suicidal state of affairs. We speak, so the world listens. We, the people of the world, speak, and the world listens, with or without any support. We are here to stay. We are not going anywhere. And if you think you're going to destroy us, Think again. You see, fear is the mother of all destruction. If you are oppressed, if you are treated like wild dog, and you allow fear, you have to speak truth to power. You can use your law, you can use your power to destroy truth, but truth is indestructible. Don't be deluded. Don't be deluded. And this is enough. Because we have seen that we are going down as a species. We are going down. Human species is going down because of war. We are fighting, and you ask Israel, why are you fighting the Arabs? You ask Arab, why are you fighting Israel? They don't have an answer. They have excuses. Iran bombing Israel, and Israel bombing Iran, and you don't even know why. And you think this is the government because they are crazy. And you come to the street, you find the children actually killing children on the street. What has happened to us as humans, a human species? Families are destroying each other. Why is that? Do you need to be rich to be evil? No. Poverty is not a passport to being evil. You fight your neighbor, you call your neighbor stranger, you are evil, including me. Including me who is speaking. If I call somebody evil, by default, I am evil. I call somebody stranger, which they are. I mean, the worst enemy on the street is a human being. The most feared creature on the street of Britain, on the street of America, the street of any country in Africa, in Asia, the worst enemy is a human being. You are not going to find a dog or a cat or even a lion. A lion may even run away from a human being. The most dangerous creature on earth on the street is now human. Human is so dangerous that they call each other strangers. They run away from one another. You can't invite somebody on the street for dinner. They will probably call the police because of fear. And they are right. Because that is who we are. We have to accept the truth that we have gone astray culturally. And I'm talking about culture. And I want to warn people in power. I warn people out of power. I warn the rich people. I warn poor people. We are all in this together. We are wrong. And it's about time now to do self-inspection. Stop calling other people strangers, even if you're afraid of them. Start somewhere. We need a reset as a society. We need to do a reset today as a society. In your own house, do self-inspection. Do you call other people strangers? Yes, you do. You are culturally backward. You are black, you are white, you are in power, you are out of power, you are rich or poor. You call somebody stranger, a human being. You call a fellow human being stranger. You are wrong. You are evil. So, as you can see, it is not enough for me to accuse anybody of evil. We are all evil and we have to stop now, together, and start proclaiming humanity again. We need a cleansing, a purging of society, beginning from individual initiative. Don't blame somebody else. You can blame the British government if you want, but the British government is just evil because the people there are evil. And they are no different from the people of Britain, the people of America. We are humans. We are evil people. So we have the power to be evil. We have power to be good people. And that is why I'm saying I have hope that we can change from being evil to good. All of us, even me. And this is a cultural issue. I'm not talking about the law. The law has its own ideas, has its own precepts, have its own ways of doing things. The truth of the law is different from the truth of education, of culture, of people. We are the people of the world. We are to live peacefully. And this message is in the interest of peace. You can accuse your MP. You can accuse your minister. You can accuse rich people. You can accuse poor people. If you think you are an MP, you are right, you are all that, then you are wrong, you're deluded, because you are not. You are a mere mortal. You're going to die of old age, of diseases, of COVID-19. You can die of anything. So who do you think you are if you're a member of parliament, if you're a minister, if you're the king of England, or if you are actually maybe the president of America? You are nothing unless you are something. You choose. You have a choice to be nothing or something. Somebody who is somebody who respects themselves, who tell the truth. And we are on the learning course. You see, we are on the learning course. Everybody is facing the same problem because we need to come to terms with our conditions. Enough is enough. We have suffered enough. We should now be concentrating on technology and all the other sources of help, to improve our humanity, to change the way we think, to change the way we learn information, how we acquire, how we use information. We now have to change. We need to choose change, changing from being wrong to right. You see, you sow one seed, you reap that same seed. You sow another seed, you reap one seed. You sow corruption, you reap corruption. You sow what is right, you reap what is right. It is actually insanity to expect that you do evil and you reap righteousness. That does not happen. It's not going to happen. The reason we fight because we are wrong. War is bad. Everybody knows. The world leaders knows it, unless they are lying to us. Unless they believe one thing and tell us another thing. Everybody is agreeing that war is wrong, and we should really acknowledge to spell it out. If something is wrong, we cannot really pretend that, if you walk in your head, you walk on your head instead of walking on your leg, on your foot. You turn around and say, I'm doing brilliantly well because I'm walking on my head. You are actually a pervert. Because you see, people who are normal walk on their feet. You see, you crawl on your belly as a snake, and you think you are normal. You are not normal. You have to walk like a human being, speak like a human being, act like a human being. We are humans. We are not aliens. We are not stupid. We are clever people. And so we use our intelligence to do what is right. And I believe we can do this. If I didn't believe we could do it, why would I waste my time talking? Because I know we can do it. We did it. We did wrong things. We did right things also. But you see, we are tilting toward wrong. The balance is tilting toward wrong. In terms of development, we have done very well. We created wealth. We did so many brilliant things. We are able to do great and wonderful things. We can produce clean environment. We can produce excellent technology. We can be brilliant scientists, doing discoveries, making inventions, creating things. We will continue to do that. But what we need to now stop and start doing, we need to clean up on our culture. We begin to put humanity at the heart of development to produce an excellent progress. And this is the roadmap to peace. This is the key ingredient that produces peace. And we will do it. It doesn't matter. We may suffer today. We may even die. Cruel people may use the law. They may use other means. They may use assassin. They may use any means to kill us. We are prepared to die. Whether you are a millionaire, multimillionaire, whether you are a poor person, if you try to do the right thing, wrong people who are in power will try to destroy you. If you are in power, you should not be ignorant. If you are in power, don't think that everybody in power around you are normal people. Some people are so abnormal. They don't sleep. They stay awake, planning how to destroy the public sector. Knowing the public sector, if it's destroyed, poor people are going to remain poor. And this will talk about over 90% of the population who work for a living. Because if we destroy employment by using adverse employment policy, if we use employment policy to produce low pay and low quality jobs, then we are actually an agent of corruption. We are very dangerous to the human species. If you find somebody doing something wrong, you are probably right, especially if you are in power. If you think somebody, a colleague in a powerhouse, is doing something really wrong, you smell a rat, you're probably right. And really be careful, because they can kill you. Dangerous people are everywhere. Some of them are in power, some of them are out of power. The dangerous people out of power are waiting to access power to do damage. You see, we do that by failing culturally. More and more, the more we neglect humanity, which is actually the essence, is the backbone of our cultural economy. The more we neglect humanity, the more we neglect our cultural economy, the more we produce wrong people, beginning from, we start teaching evil from the womb. And when they are born, they look different from other children. They have funny looking eyes, because they came with evil intent, even if they are children. I hate to really despise kids. But culture is so important, because they start teaching wrong things even when children are in the womb. Scientists are saying children begin learning from the womb. And if you are a parent who is always, accusing, you are always saying bad words, behaving badly when your child is in the womb, when you're quarreling with your husband, the child will be born looking really awkward, suspicious of their parents, because he has been listening to what his parents are saying. Maybe the dad is saying, this child is not my child. The child will listen of it. If the scientists are right, the child will listen to it when the child is in the womb. You give birth to a child, the child is crying day and night because they heard bad thing from daddy. I'm not just saying this, but if scientists say children begin learning from the womb, who knows? Maybe they start learning before they were born, even before they are conceived. Life is full of mysteries. And that's why, people write fiction. But, what is fiction today could be tomorrow's fact. And I'm so grateful to the scientists who are doing research, especially research to promote humanity. And everything we do, as I say, should be to promote humanity. And that is the right thing to do. If you're in government, make sure what you're doing is to promote humanity. You cannot do anything which is not supporting of humanity. And that should change. That is what I mean by cultural economy. In what we do culturally, we complement, we provide the energy, the resources, the essence to actually impact on our development, impact on our progress. It's as simple as that. It is easy to say, but not so easy to do. So what are we going to do? What are the leaders going to say? What the King Charles, Rishi Sunak, Joe Biden in America, all the leaders, all the global leaders, what are they going to say? What are we going to do to promote our culture? Promoting our culture is putting humanity at the heart of our operations. That is how humanity can live to see into the future. If we don't, we continue neglecting our humanity today, we are finished. We are done. If you're a policeman, if you're a military man, if you're a politician, if you're a businessman, if you're a commoner, if you're on the street, it doesn't matter whether you take drugs or not, whether you're black or white, whether you're male or female, adult or young, we are all in this together. We must reclaim humanity today and move forward to doing progress. Sky is the limit. The world is our oyster. If we choose the right path, we achieve the right result. And that is what we need to do. And that's what we will do. The meaning of leadership is the one who value humanity, who learn and teaches respect, self-respect, respecting other people, respecting your property and their property. That is the essence of every legal principle written in every country. It's about respect. At the structural level, at the developmental level, this is expressing the fingerprinted essence of humanity, which manifests in how we build vehicles, how we go into space, how we protect our environment, how we design society in terms of system, in terms of institution, as we build our worlds, the streets, the building, the architecture, the artistry, the music, you name them. These are actually evidence that humanity is beautiful. And what is beautiful cannot for a moment be made ugly by our cultural failure. And therefore, from the sound of my voice as you hear it, let us resolve together to come together as a human family, rich or poor, black or white, whether you're in power or out of it, whether you're sick or healthy. Let us all believe in humanity, valuing humanity, focusing on humanity, doing what is right, producing peace. So the idea of peace is our responsibility. If Israel fight Arab and Arab fight Israel, they are responsible. Both are responsible because they are the human species. They are part of the human family. You find Ukraine fighting Russia, and you hear the Ukrainians speaking about Russia. You think Russians are actually aliens. And Russians believe Ukraine is bad. Ukraine is believing Russia is bad. Both are right and wrong. Because Ukraine are bad people. Ukrainians are bad people because they are fighting Russians. Russians are bad people because they are fighting Ukrainians. They both are actually good. Ukrainian and Russian are good people because they are humans. They just be humans behaving badly, doing bad things, fighting and killing one another. Where is common sense? I mean, what has happened to our politics? What is the use of politics if all politics does is to make us lie and fail to tell the truth and create problem, pain, suffering, misery? When are we going to see the light? The world is covered in darkness. What are we going to do? And that is why I'm talking about this. I am looking at government policy in the United Kingdom and interpret this in terms of human resources, in human welfare, which is what this policy is about. It's about social welfare in Britain. And it was produced to manage society in such a way as to deal with the extremity coming with capitalism. Now, when we begin to close down the public sector, we're ignoring the weaknesses which are actually inherent in capitalism. In as much as we create development, in as much as we create wealth, we do development and create wealth under capitalism, which is a good thing because we need the wealth. The wealth belongs to us. Creativity, innovativeness, discovery, all the human facets of human endeavors, human excellence, human achievement is to be acknowledged in the front of development as part and parcel of our progress. And these should be centered around humanity, valuing humanity first, valuing wealth, and all other factors is next. This is the right thing to do. It should be done, and it will be done because a few, though we have chosen to speak truth to power. We have chosen to speak truth to humanity, whether they're in power or not. We are all in this together. Next time we are coming here, we're going to start afresh. Watch this video. Watch the rest of the video I produce. And leave a comment below. Click notification bell. Click like. Subscribe to my channel.
You do my yo me